Hi everyone, this is Spring, the fiber enthusiast. Welcome to my channel. Today is a crochet edging tutorial. I think they look like little flowers, little tiny maybe rocks down at the bottom. But anyway, I thought this was kind of a cute edging, and I know I had a request for some more crocheted edging tutorials. Now I have altered this pattern from the original pattern. Just because I like the way that this turned out when I changed it myself. It's very similar, but I did change a few things about the pattern. If you have used this pattern before, let me know what you thought of it and the small changes that I've made to it. So let's get started. Okay, so for this tutorial, I'm just using a 5mm hook and some Red Heart Super Saver green and red as my contrasting color. It's just so that way you can see the difference between this little swatch and the actual pattern itself. So what I'm going to do is stick my hook into the first stitch down here. Now your multiples are of 6. So if you have a single crochet edge all the way around your project or on one end of your project that you're wanting to utilize, it needs to be in multiples of 6. If you're, say, going up the side of double crochets or half double crochets and you still want to use this, you just need to have either stitches or, you know, between holes, between the double crochets, finding holes. You need to make it of 6. Now, with this particular pattern, I messed around with it and revised it to my likings. You have possibly done this pattern before and do it the way that the original pattern was written. I altered it to suit my likings. So that's how we're going to go over it today. First thing you're going to want to do is connect to your project and then chain 1. Then you're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, like such. Now you're going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then you're going to count back 9 stitches from your hook. Remember, this loop on your hook is nothing but a loop on your hook. It means absolutely nothing. We are counting the actual stitches here, these chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. When you've reached the 9th chain, you're going to turn it sideways and catch the bump on the back side of your chain and insert your hook and slip stitch to that. Okay, then you're going to pull up your loop just a little bit. And what I want you to do is stick your hook from the opposite side as your loop. Stick your hook back through that same chain. So back into the same exact place that you just pulled up a loop. Replace the loop that was on your hook, put it back on your hook, and pull that loop back through. Now what that has done is it has placed your loop on the right hand side of this 9 chain loop, because we're going to be working around that loop and we don't want to work in the wrong direction. We want to work from right to left if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you would be going the opposite direction. But for right-handed, this is how we're doing it. So now I'm back on the proper side of that chain 9. And now I want to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to be working into this loop here. So double crochet into that loop, 1 double crochet. And chain 1, 2. Now into that loop, you're going to place 5 double crochets. So everything is going to be working into this loop right now. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that. And now we're going to have to squish this together because we have a lot more double crochets to put in here. So you're just going to take and squish them down a little bit. Okay, now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and place 4 double crochets into that chain 9 loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're going to chain 2 again, and we're going to place 5 double crochets into that chain 9 loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more makes 5. And again, we're going to have to scoot these together because we still got a couple more to put in here. Scoot them together just a little bit more. And chain 2, 1, 2, and 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2. Because remember when we started this, we did a chain 3, which acts as our first double crochet. And then we did a double crochet, then a chain 2. So we're just replicating what we started this round with. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is get it all situated here. So we have 3 chains right here that were left unused. We're going to go through the middle chain. Let me get my work over the top of my yarn here. See if I can get this so you can see. Okay, so my yarn is below those chain 3s. Get down here. Okay, like that. So I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go into the center chain because there's 3. I'm going into the middle one. And I want to pick up both of those legs of that V. There we go. Now I'm going to reach over and go into the top of that chain 3, that starting chain 3. I'm going to go into the top of it under both legs of that stitch. Okay. And now I'm going to yarn over because I'm pulling my working yarn from the back. Let me set this down so you can see. I have my working yarn behind all of this. And I'm going to yarn over and pull that yarn through all of those stitches. That middle chain and the top of the chain 3 plus that loop on our hook. So from behind, pulling it through all of those stitches, just like that. Okay. Now we can move the project, your working yarn, back to the front and chain 2. 1, 2. And single crochet back into the last stitch you placed a single crochet in. So there will be 2 single crochets into that same stitch. All right, now I'm going to pull up a loop and show you where we're at here. Okay. So we have our chain 1 and 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then we chained 12 all the way up and slip stitched back to the 9th stitch from our hook. And we brought that loop over to our right hand side so that way we're still working on the front side of our work. And we chained 3, double crocheted, chain 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, 4 double crochets across the top, chain 2, 5 double crochets down the other side, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then from behind the work, we pulled our working yarn all the way through the starting stitch, that very first double crochet, which was our chain 3, and the middle stitch of this, like I'm calling it a stem, the middle chain of that. And then we single crocheted, chain 2, and then single crocheted down here at the bottom, back to our project. So it's now attached to the project. So now we're going to continue on, and I'll do the next step with you. And the next step is to place 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to do a small picot. So chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to come down to that single crochet, and on the side of it, you're going to pick up 2 little legs here. Yarn over and pull through that single crochet and pull through the loop on your hook. That is a small picot. So now you're going to place 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do this again, this same little flower here. We're going to do that again, but this time we're going to be connecting the one that we're working on to the previous one. So we're going to start off the same way. Chain 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You're going to count back 9 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Go into that hump on the back and slip stitch to it. Now you're going to pull up a loop, remove your hook, come in from the right side of that stitch, replace that loop back on your hook, and pull it back through that same stitch that you just went through. So now your loop is on the right side of your work. And we're ready to begin our stitches for around this loop. So again, the first thing that we're going to do is chain 3. That is our first double crochet, and place 1 double crochet into that same loop. Now you're going to chain 1, and here's where we connect to our previous. This bottom chain 2 is where we're going to slip stitch to. So insert your hook from front to back, yarn over, and slip stitch. And then chain 1. Just like that. Now we just complete the rest of the pattern the same as we did before. 5 double crochets into that loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's speed it up a little bit here. Squish them together. Chain 2, 1, 2. 4 double crochets on the top. And if you need to slow me down in speed, you can always do so. Or if you need to speed up, you can do it as well. Usually, if you're watching on your phone, in the video on the right-hand side, there's 3 little dots. You can click on that and change the playback speed. So now I have my 4 double crochets. I'm going to chain 2 and place 5 double crochets in that same loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 2, 1, 2, and I need to scoot them a little bit more, and place 2 double crochets into that same loop now. And now we're going to do this joining thing again, and I'll go slow one more time. So I'm going to take my working yarn, zoom out just a hair for you. I'm going to take my working yarn and I'm going to put it behind my work. So you can go, over your hook and behind your work here. And I'm turning my work sideways. The reason I'm doing that is it makes it easier for me to go through with my hook to connect and get to those stitches. So here I am at the top of my last double crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into the center chain of these 3 chains that were left over. By going into that chain, I want to make sure and pick up both of those legs. That way it's good and sturdy. And now I'm going to come over here to the very first chain 3 for this particular flower. And I'm going to pick up both of those legs from the top of that chain 3. Just like that. And now I'm going to kind of tip my work over so I can get my working yarn in my hand and the tension ready, and yarn over and pull that yarn through that top stitch of your chain 3, pull it through the center chain of the bottom of this flower here, and through the loop from your last double crochet. So now we are connected completely in the round. Now we can bring our working yarn back around to the front and continue working on this pattern. Chain 2, 1 and 2, and single crochet back into the last stitch you single crocheted in. So the very bottom down here where we started that chain, single crochet into it. Okay. And now you can see how you are connected right here. The two flowers are connected. They're separated with that small picot. And we're going to go ahead and make our next picot to finish up this repeat. Now you're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then slip your hook into the side of that single crochet, yarn over, pull that yarn through, and now place 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to pull up a loop because that's as far as I am going with this tutorial. So there you have it. There is these little flowers that you can make, so it kind of looks like a garden along the side of your project. It's a fun little edging. It kind of gives a little extra something. You could do it with crochet thread and do it around a tablecloth. That would look really neat hanging down, or even like on an Afghan, around the edge of an Afghan. And I would probably only do it on 3 sides of the Afghan and not the whole entire thing. That's just my personal preference. But I hope that you have enjoyed this crochet edging tutorial. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up and let me know down in the comments section what you thought. Have you made this particular crocheted edging? And did I do it the way that you did it? Because I know I don't do it the same way that the pattern calls for it to be done. Okay, everyone. Be blessed and be a blessing. Bye for now.